Hey, how you doing? Welcome to my channel. I hope you click that subscribe button because you seem like good people and I want to keep you around. Truth be told, my subscriber count is so low that even if you weren't good people, I would probably still keep you around. I can't afford to be picky at 142 subscribers, so no matter who you are, click that subscribe button and let's get into some movie reviews. Because I don't know if you guys know this or not, but they made a sequel to Birdbox, and it's in Barcelona. And it's called Birdbox Barcelona. Because that's a revolutionary title. They really thought that one out. I suppose it's equal to like A Quiet Place Part 2, you know? I mean, it's not really, we're not really doing a whole lot there. It's just kind of continuing on the franchise, guys. Um, anyway, this is on Netflix. It has audio description and it's dubbed. It's definitely not in the English language, at least not primarily. It takes place in Barcelona, so obviously, I expect this cast to be Spanish speaking, but I can tell this is dubbed, and but it also has audio description. So kudos to being able to actually do both, because Netflix typically just releases a whole lot of foreign content and just never puts audio description on it. They just think the dubbing is good enough. It's not. I don't really even know who it's for anymore. I don't really know who needs dubbing. You can read subtitles if you can see, or you can listen to audio description with dubbing. Nobody really needs dubbing. So, we now have a Bird Box sequel. I heard a long time ago that they were going to make a Bird Box sequel. I was kind of hoping it would actually have people from the original Bird Box in it. Instead, they replaced Sandra Bullock with somebody I've never heard of in my entire life. However, interestingly enough, Diego Calva's in this, but he's not the lead. I don't know how that happened. I don't know. I guess maybe this other guy's bigger in Spain than Diego Calva. I don't know. The dude was in Babylon. Maybe. I think this probably should have been just had a little bit more foresight to it. Then maybe switched parts and put Diego Calva in the lead, so that way it kind of felt like, hey, look, it's the guy from Babylon. Of course, nobody saw Babylon, but you didn't know that was going to happen. It was a Damien Chazelle film. People assumed everybody was going to watch that. Why isn't Diego Calva in the lead role of this film full of a bunch of people I've never heard of? I have no idea how he didn't get the lead role. It's just mind-boggling to me. But our main character is Sebastian this time around. So he's Sandra Bullock. Sebastian is Sandra Bullock now. And he has a story to tell. And that's all I can tell you, because honestly, this entire film is a fucking spoiler. So I'm so curious as to how people are reviewing this. I see people talking around it. There aren't that many reviews, at least as of me recording this video, that I haven't seen a whole lot of Bird Box reviews, because everybody's like, oh my god, there's a new Mission Impossible, we gotta go watch that. So they're heading out to that, and of course there's some limited releases, and some people are getting early screenings for some other films, and everybody just kind of seems like, I don't know about this Bird Box movie, guys. I don't know. It doesn't have Sandra Bullock in it, and I kind of agree with that after having seen it. I'm like, I don't know about it either. It seems totally different. It seems like a film that, they've done this a lot, where they take a film and then they come up with a concept and it's great, and then they make like a sequel to it, and like the sequel is just so bizarrely in like another direction that you're just like, I don't even understand what happened. Did they sell the franchise to somebody else? Like what? It feels so disjointed. It feels like it's not even connected in the same universe. Like there's not even an interpretation here. It would be like if you had Chris Nolan direct something and then you had Wes Anderson direct the sequel to whatever Chris Nolan just directed. They're not going to be the same thing. This feels very different to me. It doesn't even feel like it's attempting to be a scary movie. It feels like it knows that it's got a concept, and if it can write the log line to you, if you read the thing that Netflix has written up for you before you click on the film, and you're like, this is the movie that I'm about to watch, then they got you. That's the sleight of hand. The sleight of hand on that is that they are choosing to not reveal a little plot point about the film, which was revealed actually pretty early on in the film. I don't want to spoil it because it's the whole point for this film. Like, the whole film hinges on this. And just like the entire film it changes the perspective. It's not a straight story like Bird Box, where your hero is presented as being just pretty straightforward, sympathetic, and she's protecting the kids, and we're just following her journey, and that progression. It's a little bit different. Our guy is different, and has a different story, and is moving through different groups of people and trying to survive in Barcelona. It definitely does not follow the same beats as the original at all. And these are two very different characters. I definitely saw a critic complain that this film ends in a way that sets up a sequel. I don't know that it sets... they thought it set up like a direct sequel. I don't know that we need a direct sequel. I mean, it sets up the probability of... It starts to put questions out there into the world, so that if they make a third Bird Box, they have sort of a jumping off point, because it's like they did the first one, and it's in its own realm. It's a little bit scarier. The first film, honestly, is just a little bit more horror oriented. The second film is less so. It's I don't know how to tell you this, but they made the things a lot less scary. Before, it was like you might see these things and they might terrify your mind. I never felt that, and the narration never led me to any point where I felt like if I saw these things that are unseen, that it was gonna like blow my mind. Even if I could see, do you know what I'm saying? Like, even for the sighted people that watch this, I never felt like that was the thing. They try to sell it by having all the characters. Every time they see it, they're always like, oh my god, It's like it's always just like shocking to them, and they do a lot more with that in this film. The revelation of it is much deeper. They have like an experience almost. Meanwhile, like, people in the other films, they just kind of saw and immediately just decided to kill themselves. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't... By the way, if you have a problem with suicide, this is not your film. This is... that's what these things do. In case you didn't watch Bird Box 1, these are weird creatures that you can't see, but if you do see them, that we can't see as an audience, but they cause people who do see them within the world of the movie to kill themselves. I suppose it's not really a spoiler to say that the film also does just like what the first one did, where there are some people who have seen and seem to be working for those entities, and they're kind of crazy, and they're going around and trying to catch the people who are trying to avoid seeing. So those bad guys still exist in the world. I won't tell you how that plays into this film, but it plays into the film in a very interesting way. I'll leave you with that. The film does jump timelines a lot. It's still pretty easy to follow, but it can get kind of confusing in the beginning. But once you kind of know, once you've kind of got this film, pegged as to, oh, I see what you're doing, you'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? Like the time jumps and everything, you'll be fine. It's going to take you probably about the first 20 minutes of the film, and you'll be fine. I just can't spoil it. It is fairly creative. I'm not a huge fan. It does kind of feel like we took a step down. It does. There are just choices that are made here that feel like we're trying to move it in a different direction. They really go out of their way with these, like everybody's having some sort of religious experience. They go kind of actually even directly tap into religion and explain it that way. So, I mean, like things like float up in the air, and we see what happens to animals. It's been a minute since I've seen Bird Box. It was 2018. I thought it was okay. I didn't feel the need to see it again before watching this one, but I remembered it well enough, but I don't remember animals committing suicide, which is something that this film plays with. So we have blindfolded animals, which, like, conceptually to me is hilarious. But, so yeah, I guess this thing even, it affects, but it doesn't seem to affect birds. Like, there are these birds that, because I guess it's called Birdbox. Birds just, like, they fly around. And matter of fact, they generally let you know when something's around, there's no, it's not like one of those things is like walking around and then like a flock of birds just all fly out a window or like the side of a building. It's just like, no, for some reason birds just fly. They just fly away. They're like, oh my god, we're here to just stir up and cause trouble because these things, which, by the way, I don't even get it, because in the third film, if we could talk more about them, there's this thing that happens at the end that I can't talk about, but it's obvious to me that they can't open doors, because this whole thing involves these people are able to get inside places, and it's very obvious that those things can't get inside once you have sanctuary. You know what I'm saying? Like you're solid. They can't. I suppose they just stand outside of windows and hope that the blinds go up. Like stuff like that, or they wait for you outside the door. But apparently, they have no ability to actually affect doors. But yet, every time they're around, like, literally shit floats up off the ground, like glass, and it's just like little things. So I just, if we're gonna do this, if we're gonna go down this path, if we make Bird Box 3, can we please define what the hell these things are doing? Because I feel like Bird Box 1 was more of a, they were a lot quieter. It was a lot creepier. They were trying to be scary. The stakes felt different. Here, the stakes feel like completely different. Just completely different. And largely because of the things that I can't talk about. So that's about as much as I can do. I know it's a weird review, but when you see it, you'll understand. I haven't really spoiled anything for you. I would avoid spoilers. To be totally honest, I would not click on any reviews because I don't know who else is going to tell you what. And I have sidestepped as much as humanly possible anything that might be considered a spoiler in this film. So, uh, yep, that's it. There's a dude named Sebastian. He's in Barcelona, and it's a Bird Box movie. That's what you get. Um, and the audio description, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the audio description. The dubbing was okay. I've heard worse dubbing before, but there were a couple of actors that I could tell. I could tell. I was like, this is dubbing. There's always like that one person that sounds um, like their voice talent. You know what I'm saying? They come in and they usually do video games, so they don't know how to read like human dialogue. They're used to being like elves or something. I don't know. It's very hard to explain it, but there's always somebody who doesn't know how to talk like a human. Like nobody's actually acting here. It feels like your kindergarten teacher's reading to you or something. Um, and that's why the dubbing was obvious to me. There is one character in here that actually made me think, I think she is actually speaking in English. I think she might actually just be an English speaking character. So, that's possible. She has a British accent, and the rest of the characters, they didn't bother with accents. Not really. It's not like they went out and found like uh, Spanish speaking actors. So that way they all had like Spanish tones to their voices. If that makes any sense, they all just kind of sound. You'll hear it if you're using the dubbing with the audio description. If you're part of the blind visually impaired community, you'll get what I'm saying. This is Elias again. This is Roundabout Entertainment. I posted in my little Facebook group full of my audio description community, and I was like, okay, if this guy's going to be a prolific narrator, can I confirm, is he a human or is he AI technology? Because it's really hard to tell. Elias has described a couple of things already for Netflix. The Diplomat being one of them. I want to say The Night Agent. Just a couple of things so far recently that I've heard. And he's very sort of flat and monotone, and nothing really ever gets him excited. For some things, it's fine. I didn't mind him on The Diplomat as much as I did on Night Agent. Like, Night Agent to me was a little bit more of an action series, and he kind of felt bored by it. And that's the thing about his narration, is it feels like he's bored with what he's doing almost. Like it's a little too neutral. It's a little too it's too flat. I don't know how to say it. I don't know how else to say it. There are some people who they think that what I'm doing I'm just describing, so I must be as monotone as possible and as straight and flat as possible. And we get a lot of that from our screen reader technologies that don't really have inflections. The best narrators are able to kind of have a little bit of that in them. They have a little bit of inflection in their voices. They're able to make it feel like when there's tension in a scene, they make it feel like there's tension in the scene instead of just falling asleep halfway through their own narration. Elias needs Red Bulls. I don't know. I don't know how else to describe it. It's we got to do something about Elias, because he seems to be getting used a lot, and he's like my least favorite narrator right now. Working. There are narrators that I see that come along that I've never heard of, and I'm not familiar with them. It's like, oh, cool, you got a project. I don't know who you are. And I've heard maybe like a couple random narrators that don't seem to narrate anything or narrate very much. maybe that are kind of not great. But Elias is getting consistent work now, so it's getting to the point where we're gonna have to talk about. You're gonna need to step up your game, dude. If you're gonna move up into the territories of the William Michael Redmonds of the world. He's a fantastic narrator, and I think you should take a page out of his book. So I would have much rather heard William Michael Redmond narrate this film. This film would have been so much more interesting with him narrating it, because he brings so much more to the table and actually makes a film more interesting. He will make a bad film sound good. You know what I'm saying? Like Elias will just make you bored of whatever it is that you're watching. He sounded bored. I felt kind of bored. I felt like this was kind of like, it's weird because it was already a straight to streaming movie. So how more straight to video can you get? You know what I'm saying? Like how do you already reduce the budget when you're already in the medium to begin with? But somehow they managed to do it. So it's not as good as the first one. It is creative, so I'm not going to totally tank this. It's just, it's not the first one. I think we definitely took a step down. We didn't take a step up. I would say the same thing though about A Quiet Place Part 2. I didn't think the second one was as good as the first one. I thought the first part of A Quiet Place Part 2 was fantastic. But then like later on in the film, when it actually was the quote Part 2 part and not the day one part, it wasn't as interesting. So that's it. I'm going to give Birdbox Barcelona a C+. It passes the threshold of it's just barely good enough to watch it. And it's mainly because of, I thought the perspective that they have within the film is interesting, and how they use it. The stuff that I can't tell you. It's actually worth me not spoiling for you. Sometimes if I think something is stupid, I will go ahead and spoil it because it's dumb. I did think this was creative enough. So I actually want to preserve it for your experience. That should give you a hint as to whether or not you should watch it or not. It could have been better though. And actually, I honestly believe that even part of that C+ grade is affected by the narration. A better narrator I might have felt a B- out of this. I might have felt more interested in the film with somebody who engaged me more. So, Elias, go back to the drawing board. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe so I can continue to talk about films with audio description, and we can continue to further the medium. And also, I have a website, macthemovieguy.com. You can go to the audio description project, adp.acb.org. It'll let you know what its audio description and where you can find it. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, or Threads at MacTheMovieGuy. And you can go to TheADNA.org, where you can presumably look up Elias. I haven't done it, but you can look up Elias, presumably. I'm sure his credits are on there. He's got enough stuff. I'm sure he's been updated. And see what else he's done. So, presuming he's a real person, he might be AI. I don't know why he doesn't have a last name. I don't know why he's like Madonna, Rihanna, Cher, like Elias. You know, I don't know. It's so strange to me. Is his last name like unpronounceable? Is his last name like Elias? And he just doesn't want to try to get people to pronounce that. You know, like he's just like, you know what? It's just Elias, guys. I'm sorry. I'm Czechoslovakian, Slovenian, Zimbabwean. My last name is I'm one of the guys from Avatar, basically, and my last name is just phonetically nuts. There are no vowels in my name, so I'm just Elias. Anyway, If he watches this video, he's probably going to be really mad at me. But I don't think he watches my videos, so I don't think he's real, actually. I think he's AI. Anyway, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the other side.